Okay, everyone, I am super excited for this session today. I am joined by the amazing Kev from Kev's class, and we're going to be talking about social media and, more importantly, video in particular. I know I go on about video all the time, but today I am super excited to be embraced by Kevin, who is so into video and is completely transforming his business by using video every day. Kev, tell us a little bit about you first and your business and what you're up to right now.
Absolutely. So I'm Kev and I own Kev's Class Tutoring. So we're an education community based in Edinburgh. Now, we say education community over tuition company because we do so much more than just maths and English tuition. We do, of course, maths and English tuition is our bread and butter. That's what we do day in and day out. But we also have camps, retreats, loads of community events. And the thing that really sets us apart is that we're for the whole family, not just for the kids. The parents benefit just as much as the kids do when they join our community. And it's just been a fantastic ride.
Tell us a little bit about that. I love that part, the fact of your parents benefit just as much. Why do parents benefit as much from you? I know we didn't plan to go into this, but you've opened up that, that area now. Tell us a little bit why you feel parents benefit from being a part of your community as well.
Absolutely. I mean, if we look at the education space, particularly here in Scotland and the UK, parents a lot of the time feel that they're left out of the situation. Their
Mm,
kids go into school
yeah.
and they don't really get a lot of feedback and they feel quite lost in the whole situation. When they come to us, we really embrace them as part of our family. Everything we do is super transparent and we support their kids on their academic and confidence building journey. But we also involve the parents in that too. Not only do they get to have a clear insight on everything their kids are doing in every step, but we also provide them with so many resources to allow them to build their own confidence and the confidence of their family as a whole.
Okay.
And whether that's from chats with our staff to the resource we put out on our online community, there's so many things available for them. And the events that we do as well include the parents too. I mean, a good example of that is one of our retreats. So we do retreats up in the Highlands with yoga, meditation, and mindfulness, not just for the kids, but for the whole family.
I love that.
It's so different to most other tuition companies because
Yeah.
normally it's like, oh, drop the kids off at the door and then parents pick them up at the door and that's it. Over here, they come in, grab a coffee, take a seat, and just relax.
I love that. So you're making a whole family experience. You're getting the parents involved, but the parents feel more comfortable with you about everything you're doing. And they're probably more prone to ask questions to
Absolutely.
support their children more.
That's it. I mean, that's exactly it. The kids feel comfortable and the parents feel comfortable. And when they're here, we get so many details about their life, about their struggles, about their journey. So we can support them at every step, which a lot of the times you don't get in any other settings because the parents don't feel like they're involved.
I love that. So that's something for all of you to start to think about is, how are you involving the families more? And I think, we're recording this now at the end of 2025, moving into 2026. I think one of the biggest things we're going to see the emergence of in 2026 is more experience based
Hmm.
interactions. There's a lot of clubs opening right now where it's about leaving your cell phones at the door and, just being in a situation where you're having those connections more. And I love that you're already embracing that. But not only are you embracing, you're also it's massively helping you build that community even more as well. Love
Absolutely.
that. So tell us from a social perspective, I think you've been absolutely crushing it in terms of social. One of
Thank
the
you.
things we've advocated for a long time now is that social has moved away a lot from just image based content. We should be putting out value based content, position yourself as the local expert in what you do. And you guys are really embracing this. So tell what I'm going to do first of all, I'm just going to share an example on the screen. I'm going to bring up your TikTok account on the other screen. And hopefully you guys, yeah, you should be able to see it now. Tell us first of all, Kev, how often are you posting content across your social media platforms in terms of video?
So we try to post a minimum of 3 times a week, and that's
Okay.
really the bare minimum. There's some weeks that we're posting every single day, but bare minimum 3 times.
So perfect. And that's easily achievable for everyone. Three
So
times
yeah,
a week, but you're focusing on good quality content. Now, and I want to come down because The numbers vary dramatically. And I love your account is a perfect example of not every video is going to hit home, but there are
Yeah,
some videos that are having a huge impact here. So if we just I love this Santa one, by the way. I hadn't seen this one, but I love that one. And then if you scroll down, there's this one here you talked about where you've got 68,400 people viewed this one. And this was called around fixing the system. Let's just touch on that one first around why that particular video had such a big impact and why people are engaging with it.
for sure. That was a super interesting one. And to be honest, I almost didn't put that one out because I felt it was a little bit too controversial in a way. Now, a background to that is just a few days before, a report had come out by this think tank here in Scotland talking about how they can fix the education system.
Yeah,
And it was full of information that was irrelevant. And, they probably paid these people a bunch of money to come out with this report. And at the end of the day, what they said is, oh, let's change the way that school terms are. We'll reduce the summer holidays and we'll put in another week at another point, and that'll fix the whole system. And here in Scotland, the system is so unbelievably broken that, changing a week of holiday is not going to do anything. So I thought, let's talk about this on video and let me give what I believe can be the change to actually fix the system.
I
And
love
it
that.
started off with a bit of like rage bait in a way, and it moved on to the actual value as we went through. And it had an amazing response. So many comments, so many people engaged, people calling us about it, and it really sort of put that information out there.
I love that. So 68,000 views. And part of the reason is because you were being controversial. And one of the things
Absolutely.
we talk a lot about here at CBG is you have to be polarizing. The problem is when we're neutral, like you almost, as you said, you almost didn't put the video out because you were worried about what impact it would have. And I think sometimes, are you glad that you did put that video out now?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, it really showed how we can open up the conversation into something that we believe is very important.
So first of all, there, you basically one of the first tips, just to be clear, and because what I want to make sure is that not only do we give examples here, but how can people make this relevant to themselves in their business? So you picked something that was obviously topical right now,
Mhm.
that was controversial right now, and you knew was getting a lot of attention over on social that ties in directly to what you're about and how you fit into that educational system yourselves.
Yeah,
Do you
exactly.
Do you also feel that it helps you attract more of your ideal customer?
Yeah, completely. It really, really does because the people who had come from that video to us had the same viewpoint that we have, which at the end of the day is for us, it's all about building the confidence of the kids. We don't care about grades, scores, or anything like that. We care about building the kids' confidence. And when we look at tuition companies, there's two groups of people. The people who want the grades, they want the 100% marks. But then we also have the other group who want their kids to build their confidence and they're not too worried about all of the other academics. With the videos, particularly this one and others that we put out, it attracts the people who are already aligned with our vision and our mission, and it makes it much easier to then convert them because they
Yeah.
already have the same idea.
And that's one of the big things we stress a lot on videos. Again, use video to attract more of your ideal customer
For
and
sure.
push away politely those people that maybe don't have the same values or same opinions as you that are not your ideal customer in the first place. And let's face it, a lot of people listening to this particular podcast might be thinking, well, actually, yeah, I do have those customers that aren't my ideal customer. And I want to challenge you around, well, did they find the right person in the first place? Did they have that right particular person? Or were they just appealing or trying to appeal to everyone by being neutral in the middle? So let's talk
That's
about it.
it. That's it, really. I mean, it took me a long time, I think, to realize that we don't need to have every single customer. We have a particular viewpoint on how we develop our kids. And if they don't agree with that, that's okay. They don't need to come to us.
Now that's interesting. So on that point, then, let me ask you, do you have one ideal customer or there are two or three different ideal customers that you think about? Do you have different types?
I would say we would have one ideal customer, but it's a
Okay.
little bit broad.
Yeah.
Our ideal customer is the family that wants their kids to build their confidence.
Okay.
It's not the family who looks at the report card at the end of the year and says, "Oh, you got a B, we don't want to make that an A."
Right. Okay. So you're then purposely using the content you put out to almost talk about, hey, we're not about a grade system here. It's more about the confidence building. So
That's it.
immediately you're being polarizing by pushing away those families that are purely about the grades. And you're helping attract more of the ideal family that isn't about the grades, it's more about the confidence of the child as a whole.
Exactly, and we've had so many families come in recently that we've been as we've been a lot more consistent with our content, they've come in and give them the talk about what we're all about, and they say, "Don't worry, we know. We've seen all the videos, and our
I
kids have
love
watched
that.
all the
I
videos."
I am so pleased for you to stress this because so many people are just trying to appeal to everyone. And what I love about what you've said there is that you know that you don't need to appeal to everyone because you just want your ideal customer. And there's more
Yeah,
than enough people out there that are attracted by that.
that's it.
So let's pick another one. We're going to go on to another quick video. And I just want to give people some examples here because what we're trying to show is the types of content and equally that, you've got some videos which, I huge respect to you, the volume of videos you're putting out, and anyone can easily create 3 videos and put those videos out. It's super
For
easy
sure.
to do. But the reality is that most people don't do it, and the not every video hits a home run. We've got some here that have got maybe a couple of hundred views, but you've got some others down here. If I scroll down, and there was one in particular just here, for example, this one almost had 200,000 views.
Mhm.
Tell us a little bit about these two in particular, Kev, if you don't mind.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, in that whole area, that was during our National 5 exams. So, for those in England, that's similar to the GCSE exams. And we have a National 5 course here at Kev's class, and we thought at that point when the exams are coming up, people are starting to revise, let's put out some videos. So we have a couple of different ones. Ones on particular topics we knew that kids would find tricky, but also all about the mindset. So those videos in that area did super well because they were really targeted at a specific audience. And in this
Yes.
case, it was those who are about to take their exams.
Love that. So again, it was topical at the time. It was something that was on people's mind that they needed help with. So the videos got huge engagement over a very short period of time. Yeah, love that. Any other particular examples, Kev, that you wanted to give? So we've given two there. Are there any particular other examples, particularly from this particular account, that we want to talk about? I know we're going to talk about influencers as well, but is there any others that you want to particularly talk about on this one?
I think just overall about the channels and the socials, I think a lot of times people get caught up in only filming a particular type of content. We're only going to do this, we're only going to do that. But, what we've found over the time is that we just put out loads of different types. We do informational videos, we do videos for parents, we do videos for the kids, we do fun videos just everywhere. And people really appreciate it. And we're getting loads of type of people coming to our account for different reasons and not to get caught up in only one specific thing.
Yes, I love that. So there's a couple points because I know there are a lot of barriers to people filming content. Okay, we have calls with people all the time that they don't want to be the face of the business or they worried about potentially what people might say about them. So you've got a couple of different people on here. What would your
Mhm.
response be to that first one about being the face of the business?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I know exactly what they're talking about because I remember when we first started with you guys, you were telling me all the time, film these videos. And I really didn't want to at all. And, it can be a confidence thing. It could be anything really. And I didn't really want to do it, but I forced myself to do it. And I would watch back the videos and think, "Oh, this is horrific." I look like I'm so wooden on the camera and this and that. So I understand completely where people are coming from, but you just do it. You just do it and it gets better over time. And at the end of the day, you are gonna be the face of the business. If you're the director of the company, if you're the person that the families are seeing, particularly right at the start, you are going to be like it or not.
Tell
So
me,
you might as well put it up on video.
yeah, and on that note as well, if you don't mind me adding to this, and we'll talk about you have another person as well, but one of the big things, again, I think sets you apart from all the big chains is it's Kev. It's
Yeah.
Kev's class. Kev is doing the videos. Kev is the face of the business. There are some huge tuition companies out there that you don't know who the face to
No.
that particular business
Faceless.
is.
Uh-huh.
And do you feel that, because people can put a face to the business as well, do you feel that gives you a different competitive advantage?
I think it does. I think it does for sure because we're all about community and all of this. And being a faceless business wouldn't fit that. If they didn't know who was really at the top, it wouldn't make sense. But because I'm the face of the business and we have a couple of my other staff members as the faces too, it makes them feel a lot more comfortable when they come in. They go on the website, they see us. They watch our videos, they know it's us. They come into the center and they see us in person. And we've even had a couple of people who have come in and said, "Whoa, it feels like I'm talking to a celebrity because I've watched so many of your videos."
Yeah.
But it
Yeah.
makes them feel instantly comfortable with you, and they know what to expect almost when they come in, and it's been great.
I'm so excited just listening to you this and seeing the journey you've gone on and how the impact it's have on your business now. So tell me a little bit about you have another person in particular on the videos.
Yes.
How did you get this person involved? And what were your thoughts? So I'm just going to share examples here. So you've got again, here's some more examples. There's you, and then tell us about this particular lady that you have doing a lot of the videos with you as well.
Yeah, so this lady's Alicia, but she's our lead shooter, so she's my number 2 here in the center. And to be honest, it was her a lot in the beginning saying we need to film a lot of videos because she loves filming videos, little shorts, and she just brought that into the business. Really, when she came on, we started doing a lot more of this because she knew how to edit and she knew how to sort of think about how to do the videos. And it ended up taking a lot of friction away from me because she came up with a lot of the ideas. And now she continues to do that.
Yeah, I love that. So now she currently, I don't want to say this publicly, but I might as well. I guess she holds the record right now, close to
Yeah.
200,000 views on one of her
Mhm.
videos.
Yeah, yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
I love that. So,
Mhm.
so, and how are you finding that? So again, just to touch on this, so you've got yourself on video, you've then got the lead tutor on video, and obviously she is someone that is embracing this. Does
Yes.
she feel that, she's becoming this kind of mini kind of celebrity type person as well, when people are coming in? Does she get that kind of vibe as well?
Yeah, I mean, for the people who are new coming in and who have looked through all the videos, they see her and they see her on the wall and they're like, "Oh, we've seen you in the videos." It's a really cool feeling, I think, for all of us.
I love that. I love that. So we've touched on obviously being a face of the business. We've talked about why you've embraced video. What we want to focus on next is before we move on to the influencer side, which I think is extremely exciting. Talk to us about you touched on creating lots of different topics and trying different things. One of the big things we're obviously trying with you right now and quite a few other clients is this whole thing around picking three core topics
Mhm.
that we can obviously help you create content around and then get that content filmed. So for your perspective, are you actively tracking right now which ones work better? Where are you finding more interest is over those videos that got, hundreds of thousands of views versus the one that maybe only had 500 views? Is that through how much time are you spending looking at that analysis just to compare those?
To be honest, we don't spend that much time doing that yet. And I like what you sort of came to me a couple of weeks ago about doing these core pillars of content because it gives us a sort of focus on some of our videos and it allows us to then film other ones around the topics and fun ones. Like, we did a fashion show with the lost and found property that we had.
Love that.
It gives us a little bit of a mix and we are tracking, but what I'm most interested in is cross-platform. What is performing well on TikTok versus what is performing well on Instagram? Because for us anyway, the majority of our customers come from Instagram and Facebook. TikTok is more of an entertainment thing, and we're finding that our videos that are more geared toward our high schoolers are doing much better on TikTok versus on Instagram.
Yes.
Like
Love
that
that.
video that got almost 200K views on TikTok probably got 300 on Instagram. So it's noticing, cross-platform what is working and what we're trying to do on each of the platforms.
I love that.
And what we're finding is that particularly for kids that are nervous about coming to our center, they go straight to our TikTok and they watch our videos before they come in. And their parents will say, "Oh, yeah, they watched loads of the videos on TikTok. They know you guys are a little bit crazy, so that's great. They were more than welcome to come in."
Yeah. So you
Whereas
removed that barrier. Sorry to interrupt you, but you
yes, no,
moved
go
the
for it.
barrier around because a lot of people, if they go into a tuition center or they go into anything new, there's always going to be this barrier, what to expect.
Yeah, it's
There's
nerve-wracking.
this fear factor, but you're removing that fear factor by showing them what it's actually like to come into your facility.
Yes, yes, and we're even starting to suggest that to parents when they say, "Oh, we'd love to bring our kids in, but they're nervous about coming in." The first thing I say is, open TikTok, open Instagram, let them watch some of our videos, and 9 times out of 10, a couple of days later, they come back and say, "Oh, great, when can we book our appointment?"
I love that. I love that. So, and this is, see what Kev's starting to do here, guys. Look, as he said, I asked him that question about how much time does he spend and analyze it, because it's not a huge amount of time. And I think people sometimes worry about that creating content isn't what we call a leverage time, a leverage skill set. What we focus on here is when you create video based content, you are creating content that is definitely leveraging your time, that
Mhm.
is going to be out there and can be used for a long, long time to come.
That's
And
it.
and that's one of the things that, if I scroll through and look now how many videos you're up to, there's hundreds of videos in here. But you've just been consistently every week, 2 to 3 videos, you're putting those out every single week without fail. And
Absolutely, and I think it's so important.
it's having a huge impact on the business. Now, the next one I want to touch on is this whole concept around this influencer. Now, you don't have to go into a particular person if you don't want to, but tell us a little bit about th- how influencer marketing is impacting your business.
Mhm. This is something that's very, very new to us. We never even considered it in the past, and we didn't think it was attainable, particularly for a small business like ours.
Yeah,
Hear about, oh, we're paying tens of grands for particular videos with influencers. So it was always in the back of my mind. But there was one a particular Edinburgh-based influencer that our business manager came to me and said, "Do you know she's just down the road? Why don't you try and contact them and see if they want some tutoring?" And this individual, I'm sure she won't mind me saying, it's Daddy and Carly, really quite large. They've got 800K on TikTok, and like big, really big. And they're very open on their channels about Carly having dyslexia and having a little bit of trouble in school. And we thought, let's reach out and see if this is something that they're looking for. So I just popped a message over to their manager because they always leave the manager's email in the bio normally. Popped off an email and got a response and said, yeah, they would love to. We had them into the center, did what we normally do for any customer, no different at all. Had our tour, talked about what they were looking for, and signed them on, and they're absolutely loving it. And the amount of sort of visibility we'd be getting just through them posting, a few videos here and there, a picture in front of the center, has been incredible for two main reasons, I would say. First, it showcases us, you showcase our business to more eyes. But the second thing, which I think is much more important, is that these influencers they're known, they're liked by people, they're trusted by so many, and seeing them coming to us opens up to many other families, "Oh, this is something that we can do as well. Let's
yeah.
try it."
And the fact of obviously that she's got some, maybe additional learning needs that she needs to, that people are relatable to. That as well is, and she's found a path to help her, and
Mhm,
obviously you be in that path. So tell us about, there was one particular video you mentioned where I believe, was it where she was walking to the center and then filmed some of the footage, and obviously how, tell us about that particular video and how that's
mhm.
impacted the business.
Yeah, so that wasn't planned at all. I mean, they did that on their own accord. She was walking into the center and, her mum just took her video saying, "Hello, I'm walking into Kev's class now." Super short, just at our front door, right before she walks in for her session. And that video is sitting at 200,000 views or something like that on Facebook,
Wow. Yeah.
and incredible because they tagged us in it, and we had loads of inquiries after that, and in fact, loads of people messaging them directly saying, "Who are these? Where are they?" And we got loads and loads of new customers from that, and that was like a 5-second video. We spend hundreds on ads every week, and our videos don't get anywhere close to that that kind of views.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit then. So, just so everyone understands the steps involved, you identified a local influencer, particularly related to your sector, i.e., tuition education, and then identified. So, what you did, you reached out, really simple, just reached out to them. Did you offer any kind of contra deal? Was it just a case of inviting them in? You don't have to tell us
Yeah.
everything, but just tell us a
No,
little
no,
bit
I'm
about
happy
how
to.
you kind of approach that side, if you don't mind.
Yeah. I was a bit cautious, right? Because obviously we're working with kids and I'm really mindful about not wanting to commoditize children, but at the same time, we have to come up with some kind of arrangement, right? And I was very clear with the manager because the managers right in the beginning wanted to start talking about, okay, how many videos and this and that for some kind of compensation. And I said to them, hold on a second, because I want them to come into the center first and see if they like it. Because that's more important to me than anything, is that we're able to provide our genuine service. And once they're comfortable, once they're happy, we can then talk about the rest. And I think that approach was very important because it showed them that we genuinely want to help. It's not about the marketing and everything first and foremost, but it's about helping the family. And wherever that relationship goes after that is fine. But we first need to establish the first step of meeting. It's
100%.
really different than, I don't know, a shop going to go to an influencer for promotion in our line of work
Yeah,
because it's very personal what we do. It's
100%.
not like we send a product and they use it and they film a video. So I think that was very important to do. But once they had come in, we were then able to discuss, we're going to provide them with X number of tuition for this, or if we were going to pay for these videos. And we just had a back and forth with the manager to figure out what worked for everyone.
I love that. You focus on obviously providing value first, which we say all the time. Value
Yeah,
based, always provide
so
value,
important.
more reciprocity. You give, you might potentially get something in return. But you focused there on providing value. You didn't try and reach out and say, hey, this is all about a marked employee. It was just about providing the value base first. And then obviously some kind of contra deal works out on the back end.
Yes,
So for anyone that is potentially looking to explore this path, what would you say is the next steps? Because I know you're now exploring or actively exploring other potential
yes.
influencers. What would you say would be maybe 2 or 3 steps that they need to kind of pursue to get this started?
Step one is definitely find the right fit for you. There's hundreds of thousands of influencers out there, local, national. It's so important that you find someone who aligns with your views. Because if they love you and they love what service you're providing, the rest will make it so easy. So spend a lot of time truly finding the person that's right for you. There's no point in spraying and praying, sending loads of blanket emails to people that you don't really know that much about in the hopes that someone responds, because they probably won't. But if you go to a select few that you know are aligned with your business, it'll make the conversation much easier and it'll make it genuine. You're not going to be sending emails like, "Oh, I love your content, especially the one about this," when you're
Yeah,
not
which
actually
happens a
wanting it.
lot. We get that a
Yeah,
lot. Yeah,
yeah.
a lot.
But if you're genuine, they will open up the conversation. So step one, find the right influencers. Step two, find the right contact. Don't Most of the time, DMing them on Instagram or whatever is not going to land you anywhere. You need to find their manager. Find the email, find the company that's managing them, and reach
Yeah,
out to them. That's how you're
love
going
it.
to get there.
And tell me, do you feel, I think I know the answers to this already, but I just want to hear it from you. Do you feel because you already had a lot of video online that that had an impact on them building a relationship with you?
Massive, massive impact. I mean, that was one of the first things that they said when they came in through the door. They were like, "We watch all of your videos. We love it. We think this is going to be the right place for us."
Do you
And right
think it
from
would have
there,
been as
the
do you think
relationship
it would have
grew.
been as easy if you didn't have that video content online?
No, I don't think it would have been easy at all because influencers, they live in that world. They value that world, the videos, the active presence on social media, regardless whether you're big or small. I don't think it matters. It doesn't matter if you've got hundreds of thousands of followers or you've only got a couple of hundred. They value the work that you put into doing that more than anyone else
100%.
because
Yeah,
that's their job.
yeah.
And we can make the connections in that way.
I love that. So, one of the biggest challenges, as you know, that we come across. So, I'm just going to tell you a little bit about backstory to this. We were talking about we want to change the whole social strategy in terms of what we do with all our clients around the world, and we were talking about we wanted to test something now a few weeks back with a particular client, and the first person we reached out to was Kev because we just know Kev is great at video. He embraces it, he loves it, and he's crushing it. Now, 12 months ago, that wouldn't have happened. So, Kev, what would you say to someone that is really on the fence around either being the face of their business right now or actually just getting started with video-based content?
So if you're just getting started with video content, it's going to be really difficult at the beginning. It will. You just need to do it. You need to put in the reps. When you film more videos, it will become more natural. It's fine if you look horrible on camera. It's fine if you don't know how to speak on camera. Who cares? Get in front of the camera and practice. That is the only way you're going to get better. You can practice as much as you want in the mirror, but it's different when you click that record button. So just go and film the videos.
Yeah.
It'll come.
And the other big problem you've got as well right now is you've got a lot of UGC content being put out there, and you've got a lot of AI content now being created
Mhm.
where you don't even know if that content's real now. So
That's
you
it.
have a lot of people, I see it a lot of the time where you'll have, they've hired someone online to talk about their business, or they've used an AI avatar to create that content.
Mhm.
What's your thoughts around you? Do you feel that because you're creating this content, one of the big things with your content, another reason we can tell it's genuine, if I just share the screen again really quickly, it's you can clearly see that it's you. There's no way we can be using AI to create this content. It's clear that you guys are in front of the camera, you're moving around. You're not just using a blank wall behind you where it could be a Hey Gen platform or something that is easily used to create AI. So
For sure.
people are do you feel it's building a general relationship because they can see this in comparison to a lot of the UGC generated content right now that's being produced?
100%. I think with the UGC content and the AI content, fine, it might be putting out a message. It might be putting out the message that you want, but it feels different.
Yeah, 100%.
People can tell right away that it's a little bit soulless. They don't have the same passion for your business, and the AI is AI. When you speak, you will lead the passion that you have for your business or whatever topic it is that you're doing. And that makes all the difference because people can tell.
Yeah, no, I love that. And what one last video I want to touch on, because you are so well planned, so well organized. One of the things that we've worked a lot with you guys around is you've got all your events planned out. And I
Yeah.
love this video that you talk about where you're talking about all the different events. People can book all these early,
Mhm.
and you've got videos now that can be used for the next 12 months to continue to promote your facility. So not only is Kev creating content that's topical and relevant right now, controversial right now, but you're also using that video can be used time and time again,
For sure.
that can be recycled to be put on landing pages and everything else, aren't you as well?
That's it. And I think it's so important that you get the content filmed and you get it planned out and you bulk film the majority of what you're going to do. Like a lot of these videos that you see that are being posted all the time, I've done that in probably one morning. In fact, tomorrow I have 9 till 2 blocked out. We've got all of the video topics and we're filming for that time. And then they're going to be edited and we're going to post them out over the next few months. And that opens me up to then, if a topical thing comes up, I have the time to then film it because I'm not thinking I need to film all of these videos
Yeah.
plus that one. I
Yeah.
have a whole bank. Or if I get sick, fine. We've got them in there.
You've got the bank of content ready to go. So in theory, you're blocking out 5 hours of filming time. So you've obviously spent a bit of time before that, with script videos, etc. You've got all that before.
Mhm.
Now you know what's going to be filmed. You're prepped, you're mentally prepped, ready to do those. You've only blocked 5 hours. And how many weeks of content do you think you'll get off the back of that?
After tomorrow, 8 or 9 weeks.
8 or 9 weeks, and you
Yeah.
spent 5 hours creating that film content.
Yeah.
Talk about leveraging your time. That's just
Yeah. I know.
phenomenal.
Exactly.
It's just
It's amazing.
so big shout out, Kev. I cannot thank you enough. I think what you are doing, I take my hat off. Huge respect to you. You're absolutely crushing it. I love that you're fully embracing it now. If there was one last tip you'd give to everyone listening to this, they're all struggling around getting used to, putting video content out. And this is something we do here at CBG, by the way. If it is something you need and you want help creating the videos, it's something we do here. So if you're interested, comment down below. We'll give you the details. But your last tip, Kev, if someone is, really struggling right now, They don't want to be the face of the business. What would you say to them? One last tip just to get them started.
Honestly, pick up the camera and film something, film a video, just do it because it will be the best thing for your business. Once you've done a few, you're not even going to think about it anymore. But those first couple of videos are so important to just get done.
Kev, I cannot thank you enough. Guys, make sure you show some love for Kev in the comments down below. Put your questions in. Kev, if there are parents that are potentially listening to this that are in your area, where do they need to go to find out more about you?
So kevsclass.com, that is where you can find all about what we do all throughout the year. And of course, our social media pages, Kev's Class on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, you can find us there.
Love that. So, guys, make sure you go and reach out to Kev. Thank you so much for listening. Pop your questions in down below and show some love and appreciation for Kev as well. Kev, thank you so much for joining us once again today. Really
So thank you
appreciate
so
you.
much for having me, Nick.